To those of us that grew up in the 90s with watching iconic movies like Jurassic Park, and more specifically, the T Rex roaring in that famous breakout scene from the fence. I mean, who can forget that? It's probably one of the most spectacular scenes in all of cinema history. At least that's my opinion. And that iconic roar, that shriek from hell of the T Rex. So, you have that from the old school, and now you fast forward to recent years, primarily that of Prehistoric Planet. And it took a little bit of getting used to, at least for myself, the idea of the silence of the hunt. Now, what I mean by that is, in the scene where we have the Nanooksaurs, they're placing their foot down one step at a time. And who can forget David Attenborough when he says each step brings them that much closer to success? You have the same thing with the Chienzosaurus in the Asia scene. And it's just fascinating to think that that is probably the most accurate portrayal of dinosaurs that we're going to get. This silence in hunting. And in the animal world, it makes total sense. Lions, tigers, most hunts are done in silence. First there's stalking and there's sizing up. And then there's that moment right before they pounce, right before they make their attack. And it's usually in silence. You may get some roars thrown in here and there, but for the most part, these attacks, these kills, they happen in a silent world. And for a lot of us that grew up in the 90s, and maybe people who are even more old school than myself, it may take some getting used to this idea that dinosaurs are just not roaring out of control, blaring menacingly. Now, if you've watched this channel for some time, you may know that I write prehistoric thriller books with teeth, claws, and people getting eaten. Now, I have to be honest, in my books over the years, I've been guilty of just having monsters and dinosaurs just shriek from the depths of hell and just blare loudly and just come blasting out of the trees, full bore, 10 out of 10 on the decimal level. And in seeing Prehistoric Planet over the last 2 years, it's really made me rethink my own books in that I want things to be more lifelike. It does not make sense for a predator to be blaring loudly and roaring loudly and giving away its location. Makes no sense at all. And again, Prehistoric Planet 1 and 2 has given us the most accurate portrayal. I do really like how they wove in some roars. When we first see the Tarbosaurs in the caves, there are a few little roars mixed in here. They're almost like a lion kind of yawning and roaring. I like it a lot. At first, it took a little bit of time to get used to it, but as time set in, I really appreciated it. And it makes me think that that is as close as we've gotten into taking a peek back to the prehistoric past. But leads me to the most important part of the video, your comments. Love to hear them. Are you a fan of this new age of dinosaurs where we do not have roaring, where not have storybook movie type monsters? We have real living, breathing animals that do not roar most of the time, sometimes, but most of the hunt is done in silence. Are you a fan of it or are you not? I'm definitely a fan. I'm on board with that 100%. If you enjoyed this video, really appreciate you subscribing, and it would really help the channel out if you'd appreciate and consider subscribing to Prehistoric Magazine in the comments section down below. Appreciate all the support. See you in the next video. Take care.